listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show.
What's up, AFTERBUZZers? Happy Tuesday. Bing is for doing, and this week we're doing another episode of CBS's Vegas first season, 6th episode, The Real Thing. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me this evening are, across from me,
Nick Perdue and Bamm Ericsen.
Yes! I love these guys. This is a memoriam episode for Alex Salem. You can find him at the Alex Salem. We've not forgotten about you, Alex. Get well. We'll hope to have you here again next week if CBS doesn't cut us a double week. And again, for the second time this season, yes, it annoyed me too. I know you guys are like, what the, you know what? Why are we getting cut?
It was election night.
Whatever, dude. Vegas is more important. We all knew who was going to win. Well, maybe not all of us. Anyway, so who was the president in 1960?
Well, they just talked about Kennedy.
Kennedy was running for office.
Running, yeah.
So who's the president before that?
Kennedy.
You would know that because you're good with history.
I am good with history, but in this particular case, I cannot remember.
Weren't you, you know?
Yes, and I'm wearing my UCLA hat too, which is not a thinking cap right now. But it is to remind everybody that USC and UCLA are playing this weekend. And it is a big game at the Rose Bowl. Number 17 UCLA versus number 18 USC. That has nothing to do with Vegas, but whoever wins, I'm sure will go to Vegas and celebrate since that's a big crosstown rivalry game.
All of the college guys go and gamble, right?
I mean, I hope not.
Right.
Anyway, into the episode of Vegas. What happens this week? So the episode starts off, right? And we have these guys that come into the back room to audit the books. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys I guess he's one of the accountants or one of the clerks or whatever, he actually is getting sick or whatever, and then he fumbles and spills a drink onto one of the chips.
That has some solution on it, though.
You know what? All I noticed was the Alka-Seltzer. I'm like, well, that's why he's getting sick, because Alka-Seltzer in 1960 probably wasn't as refined then as it is now. So it probably gave you heartburn as opposed to help resolve it. And it was probably a little more, had some battery acid in it or something, which burnt off.
Battery acid.
I don't know. But it probably burnt off whatever was on the chip. Mm-hmm. So that's why you saw, and Mia was like, she looked down and she saw like, okay, why is this chip corroding right before my very eyes?
Exactly.
So she discovered that there was actually a fake chip in the casino. Mm-hmm. What did you think when you saw this happen, Bamm?
Then it was an immediate setup for that. This had to do with fake chips, and so I think this is a great episode in the story because it tells the story of Vegas, and so with fake chips and at that time, how did people do corrupt things? Because in 2012, they are on a whole different level of corruption and cheating.
Right.
But to see this and how you goes from the dentistry who has something to do with this, and how he makes the chips, and how he's better than the little side hustler who makes the chips, and so it's great storytelling for what Vegas was back in the '60s.
Right. I thought it was very interesting how they pointed out that the counterfeit chips were being manufactured via dental cement.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? I mean, did that stick out to you, Nick? Like,
Yeah, it was smart.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Thaddeus, I was like, this is smart. Like, how come I didn't think of that? You know, I mean, I'm gonna go to my dentist tomorrow and be like, yo, I got this idea. We can make some money real quick.
You're in debt.
Yeah, I'm like, you're in debt, I'm in debt. Let's make this thing happen. But no, I mean, you know, because as you see, like the local bootlegger or like the local counterfeiter, you know, was getting shaked up, right? Because he was like the guy to go to. But you know, he said, if I could make chips this good, then I would have been doing it, you know, all over town.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, like, I guess coming from that perspective, since he was like the guy to go to, and he was surprised, of like, dude, this is really good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then you're like, okay, like this has to be like real good stuff. So it's definitely, you know, well thought through. And you know, I think, hey, if it works, then you know, I'm not saying do it,
Right.
But I'm saying if it works.
Honestly, I was sitting here thinking, like, is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Oh. But, you know, one thing that's funny, when the girl came into the dentist's office and her tooth was missing, apparently she just had an accident at rehearsal.
Which
right?
I didn't quite believe that story, but she was just way too chipper to have lost a tooth.
Right. And I just, as far as I'm concerned, as far as what I think a girl that is obviously she's in some kind of show business, she's a showgirl or whatever, and she's she's a really pretty girl, comes to the dentist with a missing tooth. I mean, of course you want the dentist to fix your tooth. You're hoping that he's going to be able to fix your tooth, but the whole tooth was missing, and she wasn't
freaking out.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, I would think, I mean,
I would freak out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would freak out too.
You're like, dude, like, no. I mean, I would think she would show up like in tears, like, and she had blood and her lips were swollen, like someone punched her.
I'd be in beer soap in my mouth. I'd be like,
right.
You know I'm here.
Right.
You fixed teeth. Mine are messed up.
Right.
You know.
It was a little pervy when he put the gas thing on her, though, and he was like, and he was talking to her. Well, I can't remember what he was saying.
I thought it was gonna go a whole nother direction.
Right, it was a little pervy.
Yeah,
it was like, wait a minute.
Do you mind the radio?
You're right. What's going on right now?
I thought he was gonna rape her.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought was gonna happen too.
Yeah,
but
I'm glad he didn't rape her.
Well, I'm glad he didn't rape her as well. I mean, he ended up dead.
He did.
So we have another whodunit for the Lambs.
Another one.
the Lamb brothers.
So
and son.
the Lamb brothers and son. So they have this dentist that's laid out, and of course it leads to this investigation with the fake chips.
Yeah, and it's revealed that he had a gambling problem.
Right.
And he was in debt of $40,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he obviously needed the extra dough.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife told him, his wife said, oh, he's broke. I mean, honestly, when they jumped to the wife, it was like, oh, well, she had something to do with it. The divorce wasn't quite over yet. He had some money, but they quickly dismissed that.
She's like, he's broke, and he's probably got maybe $100 worth.
Of gold.
Of gold,
right? Because they found some under a fingernail.
Yeah.
Of was it his fingernail? They found the gold under.
Yeah.
It was, okay. Right. So he only had he never had more than $100 worth of gold at the office or whatever, and come to find out, it's about the cement, le cement, to make the fake chips. I want to go back to the beginning of the episode when what's Lamb's son? His name is starts with a D. I don't want to say Dennis.
I want to say Dixon.
Dixon.
Yeah.
It is Dixon.
Yeah.
So he has these three guys in the middle of the desert with their pants down, which I thought was really funny. And I want to give a shout out to wardrobe, because I really think that they made those guys wear 1960s briefs. They didn't have boxer briefs down. They were like kind of baggy, like the kind you see your grandpa wear. They weren't really tight. but they were
So
like
they weren't fitted at all.
they were
just, like Pampers.
Kind
They were
of
wearing them like
they're like OG Depends.
yeah.
They weren't really snug. I think they purposely got some old school
Oh, they could just make
Fruit of
some.
the Loom for them.
Yeah.
I really think they did.
But what I think they should have done was put a little chocolate, down because you see like the opening wide shot was them
skid mark.
was from behind. Yeah, because like they're scared, they're nervous. I would have liked to see it a little.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna really be scared of Dixon. Maybe when Ralph shows up.
Yeah, when Ralph shows up and cocks the gun, tells him to shoot him.
Right.
They should have just put a little.
But that's funny. But one thing I did notice that Ralph said when he got there, if you notice, he
sure did.
He made a comment regarding the law and justice. What was that? Do you remember exactly what he said,
He
ma'am?
said there's a difference between law and justice.
Right.
As he was saying to his son.
Right. And I thought that was a very poignant statement and line that was written.
Yeah, because it was later revealed again in conversation.
Exactly, which we'll get to. But it can make you think about so many different situations. It can make you think on a grander scheme about the system and the
Rancher justice.
Exactly, which is what rancher justice is. It's about doing somewhat of doing the right thing, even if it doesn't completely coincide with the law.
Yeah, well, sometimes doing the right thing isn't doing the right thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So,
but what was interesting was this episode and this whole ordeal with the fake chips. It involved both Savino and it involved Lamb because that's the whodunit.
Right.
And so Lamb, obviously their job is to figure out who done it, and then also because the chips were being stolen in the Savoy, then the two of them had to actually work together.
Right.
And so that was interesting because when Lamb and his brother showed up to the casino, Savino's like, could you like make a telephone call this time? And he's like, no, this is something that you need to know in person. So then he reveals about the chips, that the chips being stolen. And then when he finds out that the dentist is dead, Savino's like, well, our problem is solved. He's dead, whatever.
Right.
And then he goes and takes him to. He goes, Savino, and then make a truce saying that, hey, I'm gonna, give you some insight, but I have to have your word that, this is, you're not gonna take me to jail for any of this.
Right.
And so then he goes and takes him back to the local street hustler slash
bootlegger.
The bootlegger Chips. And so
he's all beat up in the back. He's all bloodied.
Yeah. And so he's beat up or whatever, and then it's revealed that they he arrested some. Who did he arrest when he took him out?
He arrested.
No, I moved forward. So
you did move forward. Yeah, I was like, he didn't arrest anybody right there.
So then once he got some information from the local chip dealer.
Oh yeah, saying like that's where they got the information about where it was made out of the dental cement.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where,
Right. So when he told him, he said, look, I feel like, okay, you got him. He's dead. Our problems are solved. He said, well, no, it's not that easy because
now we got to figure out who killed this guy.
we got to figure out who killed him. Plus, the supplies, everything that was needed to manufacture the fake chips was stolen and gone too. So obviously, he had a partner.
Yeah.
There was somebody else who had a hand in this whole shebang bang.
The brother's name, I want to call him Jason because his name is Jason Amara. What's the brother's name?
Jack.
Jack. So then Jack and them decide that, I'll go get some help.
Right.
And so he goes to Mia.
Yes.
Yeah. His future boo thing. He goes. And so they're doing the whole investigation, and then
Honey Boo Boo.
break down how they how they figured out because the dentist he was in debt $40,000.
Yeah.
And so
They had to figure out
Yeah.
where exactly and how he was able to
cash in the funds. Yeah. And
So what happened with that, Nick?
I know Vegas law, at least now, like Vegas law, especially with taxes, that anytime you win a certain amount of money in a casino, and then when you go in to cash the chips, the casino gives you a form for the IRS. So they give you like a tax form. So like they record all this information. So they're expecting you to, do your part too. Right. Because like they're already going to tell the IRS like, yo, so-and-so made or so-and-so won this amount of money, be expecting a tax form from them, right? So I know you have, I think it's like, it's a 30 or 90 days that you have to file it after you win, right? So, but again, like there's a certain number. So back then, well, at least at the Savoy is that they record everyone's name and everyone's address when they cash in over $2,000 worth of chips or coin or whatever it is. And then so what the dentist did, he went in during this particular cashier shift, and he would cash in anywhere from $1,900 to about $1,950 worth of chips at one time.
Right.
Because so $2,000 was the cap off.
Yeah. So there was no paper trail or anything that they thought that would lead them that would lead it back to the dead dentist.
Right.
And so while your boy Jack and Mia were getting cozy back there in the receipt room, I guess you can call it, right?
They have all the archived records.
Yeah. And they said, "Oh, it's like a needle in a haystack. We're gonna be here all night." Then what did he say? He said like I've experienced worse or something like that.
Right. Yeah. And he was cheesing from ear to ear.
Yeah, he was excited. He was like, well, whatever happens, put the coffee on. That's kind of what I wanted to say. Like, put the coffee on, take off your pants. I kind of wanted him to go all the way with it.
Let's
it's
get
like,
it on.
yeah, you can give me some of that rancher justice.
That's a good way of putting it. I'm sure she would love to receive some rancher justice.
They found this particular day and this particular time of receipts that all were $1,900 to about $1,950. There was about 22 of them, and it equaled out to
the same amount.
That he.
That the dentist
indebted.
Howard Safran was his name, right?
Yeah, because when they actually went to confront the bookie guy said that he had been paid off and that he paid like $37,000 and some change. So he paid off he paid off his debt. So we forgot to actually mention that. But so like I said, he goes back and they're going to investigate. The Lamb brothers are going to investigate the bookie. The bookie says that that the debt's been paid off, so he's clear.
Yeah. So the bookie didn't kill him.
Yeah. And so now they knew that specific amount of $37,000. I think 400.
Yeah, it was 37,400.
And then Mia, because she's good with math and numbers, she figures out all of the receipts per that particular day because they were stupid. They took it all out in one day.
Right. Now, what I also thought was great was how even back then you showed that they had like a sophisticated system of figuring out
of logging stuff,
everything, and how monies were being transferred or whatever, even though technically people didn't have to sign in on the cash outside. So you still have a cashier who's cashing out the chips.
Yeah, and they figure out that
it was cashier 189.
Okay.
So she's in deep trouble.
Yeah.
This girl's
an accomplice, to say the least.
Right, which is really funny. But before we dive into that, Savino's having some issues with the mayor.
Yeah.
With Bennett, which is also a big deal. And the reason why I like this subplot is because it opened up a door for his wife to get involved. And we haven't had Mia's story. Her arc is kind of on the love arc. She's like, she came in, she tried to do her thing at the casino and call daddy. And I think her dad is going to come back. We'll talk about their predictions and obviously try to squeeze and do his thing or whatever and use his relationship with his daughter to do that, obviously. But her story right now is pretty much with Jack on the love side. And they needed to do something with the assistant district attorney, like with Carrie-Anne Mosses, with Catherine. They had to do something with this character. So they had to give her a
nemesis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So who would that be?
Laura, his wife.
Exactly. But exactly, Savino's wife. So
and also it not only did it set up a relationship between Catherine and Laura, but also it kind of it made a statement in regards to Savino and his marriage, because when he found out that Bennett decided that they went and did the audit, Savino was like, okay, it's time to take him out.
Right.
And so he was getting ready to cancel lunch or dinner with his wife, and his wife was pretty upset. She was pretty pissed about it. And so she was like, nothing has changed. I could basically go back to Chicago.
Right.
And so then, rather than him lie like he did before, he actually told her the truth. And rather than her wig out about it, she did what a woman of that particular
mob wife would do.
She had his back, and she's like, oh, you know what? I'll fix this. So there's a Las Vegas coalition. I'll go. It's known that the other women hasn't voted for Bennett. I'll go there, mingle with the women,
right,
and we'll get this vote together. So basically, she had his back. So it for him telling the truth, it served. It
worked in his favor.
Yeah, it worked in his favor.
Exactly. And to Savino's credit, he had figured it out like really quickly. He was like, okay, I got to get this guy out of office.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to be able to bump this guy off and do it in that fashion. So he's going to handle it his way.
Yeah.
So he's going to meet with this businessman, Grady, who's running for office, and put him in his pocket, basically. Sets up a lunch meeting with him and basically tells him that, you need me. And just like a politician, he says, you need me too.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Exactly.
That was hilarious. That's just what a politician would do. So I thought that was great. Now, what's awesome about what Savino's wife did, Laura is her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What she did was she offered her female
hand at making sure that he was ready and be presentable for this debate.
Exactly.
That was going to come on TV.
Exactly.
Kind of polished a little bit, kind of primped.
Right.
Kind of, yeah.
And it just to me showed what a powerful couple can do if they work together and on the same page.
That's true. Hillary and Bill.
Right. I loved it. I loved it. Will and Jada. Hey.
Yeah.
Beyonce and Jay-Z. I mean, hey, we can go on and on with the powerful.
Elton John and.
I was going to say, but let's not.
I was going to say Ellen and Portia de Rossi. But, I just think that it was good to see that.
Yeah.
Now, what is Catherine up to? She goes to the beauty salon, sits right next to Laura Savino while their hair is getting dry. Like, is she up to something?
I think she is.
What is she up to?
But I think my bad.
When she went when they were sitting at the beauty parlor, as they call it back in those days,
right?
Had they had the meeting at the coalition yet? Because that's
they hadn't had the meeting. They're getting their hair done, getting ready for that debate.
Okay. But so if they were getting ready for the debate, that means she did see Laura because remember,
she knew who she was.
Remember she said that's Savino's wife.
And she was shocked. Okay, so
she pointed her out.
So therefore, Catherine knew who she was, but Laura didn't know who Catherine was.
Exactly.
So I guess again,
what is Laura up to? Yeah. I mean, not Laura. What is Catherine up to? That's my question. What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think Catherine is up to, and I'll get right into that after we do this iTunes. So make sure you guys tune in.
Good one.
And, if you don't have an iTunes account, make sure just make a iTunes account. Tell your friends to make an iTunes account, and you could watch the Vegas podcast. You could watch this podcast. You could watch every single AfterBuzz show on iTunes and go on there and like and comment and rate and tell your friends and post it on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace and all that good stuff. And it's really good. It's fun. And it's really, I'm saying it's probably going to be the best podcast, period.
Ever.
Yeah. Holla at your boys.
And if you have other favorite AfterBuzz TV shows, you can go on there. You can go on there and rate those, comment those, and like those as well, and support Bamm and Thaddeus on their other shows that they do as well.
Yeah, if you guys want to call in, if you guys have anything you guys want to say about the show, you can call us here in the studio and make any comments, ask any questions you want right here. Sir Richard Wentworth mentioned it earlier at 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729. So back to Laura Savino. I mean, Laura Savino
and Catherine.
Catherine is up to some shenanigans, which I think are good. They haven't truly revealed them yet. It seems as if she might have been trying to figure out, what if they become like girlfriends?
That's what's gonna happen.
Well, I think that's
It's all gonna be an angle. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that's Laura's intention is to have a girlfriend because she's in this new city. She doesn't have anyone. She doesn't have any friends. So I think Laura's intention is to have a girlfriend.
And then because I don't think because Laura doesn't know that Catherine is the ADA yet.
Yeah, she doesn't know that.
And she still was like, when at the debate, she was like, "What are you doing here?" She said, "What would you like? Basically, what are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "I work for the city." She still didn't even say.
She didn't say exactly.
So she's being
what she
like
did.
really.
So she's definitely working some type of angle because like she doesn't want to show all of her cards yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like you'll really see like this relationship / nemesis really kind of grow in the next coming episodes. Kind of see what's going on.
And speaking of wardrobe, I also like how they had Laura dressed when they were at the debate. She had on a nice blue dress, and then she had on a nice little pearls around her neck, and she was very.
What was it?
Laura, she had on a nice little blue dress, and they had these nice big white pearls around her neck, and so she looked very. Well, I noticed that she looked very.
Wearing a necklace,
She looked very. Almost like First Lady, very.
Oh, what kind of necklace was it?
Pearls.
Onassis, a little bit.
Anyway. Is it the way I said pearls or something?
No.
No, it's just pearls. It's just when you have pearls on your neck, it's just funny. I don't know why it's funny. It's just
I
funny
think it is too. That's just like an old person.
It's
That's
old
not-
school.
Yeah, very old school.
grandmama's pearls on your
Yeah.
neck. Oh, baby, go ahead. Throw on grandmama's pearls.
Right.
Come get your mama pearls.
Pearls. A pearl, by the way, is a grain of sand that is harnessed by oysters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just clam.
Is it a clam or an oyster? The more he plays, the more you know music. The more you know. Thanks.
By the way, just really quickly, because I know we asked who the president was prior to JFK getting elected, was Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Ike.
Yep.
We love you, and his whole big speech about the military-industrial complex. You guys, if you don't know anything about that, just search it on YouTube, and you'll learn a lot.
Go to UCLA.
Okay. So what more could be said?
Yeah, well, but continuing on with Laura and Catherine with this debate. Now let's go into that. So Catherine was, Laura. Made sure that she wanted to have Governor, the guy who was running.
Grady.
Grady. Grady.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure that he was prepped and ready. And then, of course, Savino had his own little thing, what he wanted to do as well.
Right.
So she made sure that he was powdered.
Right.
Governor Bennett, when she tried to powder him, he was like, men don't wear makeup.
Right.
And so he didn't even know that he was being set up. So then what happens when the debate happens?
Well, he set himself up.
Well, yeah, he set himself
with
up.
that.
Yeah.
But they kind of knew.
He's old school.
Knew.
If this is 1960, this guy has to be what, 50, 60?
Yeah. So
that means his heyday was like 1920 something.
Yeah, he's
He's
probably born 1800.
This dude's a dinosaur. Like really. So he's not thinking about makeup. TV was still black and white back then.
Yes, he wasn't thinking. But what happened is, so when the debate was going, and when when Grady was making his speech, he was very poised and polished. And then as they're switching camera angles, then you could see Bennett sweating because again, lights. We all know that when you're in the lights, you sweat. So it's good that you have powder.
Right.
And then so he's already looking nervous. And then to put it over the top, then Savino makes sure that he has his boys go cut out.
At the satellite. That was funny. Kalos.
At Kalos Vegas, to make sure that as he's speaking, then the power cuts off.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. That was a big wire.
Yeah.
It was.
You know what's funny, and I really like how his henchman had eject that truck. The big rig with all the TVs. And the next thing you know, he said, "Whoa!" He said, "Just let the bus driver said, just let me live. I got kids." He said, "Yeah, I got hemorrhoids, and I don't like them either." But he says, "Just let me live. Just let me live." He said, "What? I'm chewing gum. What I look like? I look like I'm gonna kill you. I'm chewing gum." He said, "Look." He pulls out his money and pays him off, and tells the guy, "Go on. You didn't see anything here." And the next thing you know, you cut to. And you see these guys dropping off new TVs, courtesy of Grady, so they can watch the debates. Yeah. This is classic mob fashion, mob style antics, and I love it. And I love also how these guys do all their dirt in like
Broad daylight.
$2,000 suits. Like, dude climbs up on the roof to cut the wire. This dude is suited, so he can come right back downstairs and look like he did exactly. Look like he wasn't doing it with the wire cutters, bolt cutters, the big old wire bolt cutters to the whole station. Like that's the whole. It was a big thick wire too.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
But now also too, like one thing that like if you guys notice, Savino still has like I said, these old mob tactics,
right?
But he's not like really hitting guys and pinching guys anymore and shooting guys. Like he's really trying to get clean. He's trying to do stuff, not say by the book, but he's trying to do stuff in a clean fashion to where it's not a lot of blood and guts and not like just, put him in a shallow grave and let's get rid of the problem that way.
Right.
So he's maturing as a businessman, you could say.
Yeah.
You think so?
A little bit. There's a part of him where, because you have to remember, he's thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to leave majority of old school ways, but keeping only the essential parts that he must do in order to to continue to be new school. He's trying to take it to the next level.
Right.
So there's some things that when he has to get down and dirty, he's gonna do it, but he's just not gonna do it as he would if he was back in Chicago.
Yeah.
On the South Side.
Well, exactly. I don't really think he's necessarily maturing. I just think he's already a forward thinker, and to get messy and to have to bump somebody off and then to have to dispose of them and all that. I mean, remember what happened with the girl and her lover?
Yeah.
Last episode, in the bed with the sandwich.
Yeah.
Where was the sandwich at? Remember that?
Yeah.
And they had to this whole thing. Oh, where's the dude's car? Well, you told me to get rid of it, so I disassembled it. Put the car back together. It was just a mess.
It's too much to deal with.
It's too much to deal with. So, I believe he has the wherewithal to know that, look, it's much easier to control and manipulate than to bump off. I mean, if we have to do it, we do what we have to do.
And his last go ahead.
It's not like a guy like Rizzo who was like, I'll bump you off first and then
ask questions later.
He's business is, the foremost thing on his mind. And that's distraction from business. What are you about to say, Bamm?
And his last words is when he said, after the power was cut, he said, people remember the last thing that they see. And so that was his whole point.
Right.
And making sure that that Mayor Bennett's speech was cut off because people are not going to remember. They're only going to remember what Grace, what's his name? Grady said. And so, justice was served as far as he's concerned.
And with that, good night.
and justice was served. And the thing I like about this episode, and I don't want them to make a habit of it, but they work. The guys work together.
Thaddeus is speaking.
The guys work together. Savino and Lamb had a mutual interest in working together in this situation. So after the case was about to be closed, after they interviewed cashier 189, the girl's name was Holly. And Lamb busted her. I mean, he was, Savino wanted to take her in the back like a dude. Yeah. He wanted to take her in the back. He said, "No, he's not back off. Now, hold up." When he was, walking,
get information,
much faster.
Exactly.
He probably wanted to waterboard her or something crazy, some old espionage type technique. No, they don't use that. They're much worse. They just beat the heck out of you.
I thought Lamb's little speech to Holly was very funny because he said it in such a simplistic way,
right? Yeah,
where she just felt like an idiot. She had to have felt like stupid,
and it cut a lot of time. It's like the only obvious thing for you to do is to go ahead and just tell us, say sorry. And he said, "Okay, you're halfway there." She said, "Sorry." Okay, you're halfway. It was really funny, but it was a good scene. So it led to,
It led to them finding Jesse because Jesse was a boyfriend and Jesse was one that killed the dentist and
killed
Yeah.
killed the night watchman.
Yeah.
At the medical supply factory.
Yeah, because because the dentist and the girl, they went in half because they were in debt.
Right.
But then Jessie, of course, is always one greedy person. So her boyfriend was a greedy one, and he wanted to keep going, and the dentist didn't want to do that, so that's why he died. And then so Savino and Lamb were now both after Jessie. Savino was like, "I'll find him." Lamb said, "I'll find him," and of course Savino finds him. And then what's so funny is as soon as Savino comes out with him, like, okay, I got him.
I told you I'll find him first.
Then the headlights flick.
Right.
that's tradition. The headlights flicks. He got his gun.
Right.
And then they kind of have their little moments together. Their little banter about if someone came and stole from you and and then of course Savino basically, he got his money. He relinquished the guy. But I love the way he just.
Yeah, he like uppercutted him like.
Pistol
old school Street Fighter, all you can style. It was like old school video game style, and you really felt it when I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, that was Michael Chiklis from The Shield.
No, I think that was Michael Chiklis. I think that actor got a bump. I think he really hit him. It seemed like he really knocked that dude out.
I was like Mike Tyson and what was his name?
Zach Galifianakis from Hangover.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was one of those kinds of scenes.
But I have to say that the way Jessie took that last $500,000 was very Ocean's 11 like.
Yes.
The way that he walked right into the casino, he had on the full garb. He knew the exact timing. He knew the schedule. Mm-hmm. He had the draping over the cash cart and everything. Yes. And so he walked right in to the vault, and the guards were none the wiser until they were tied up, and he went in and took the money.
Wasn't the original Ocean's 11 made back in those day with Sammy?
Yeah, with the Rat Pack.
Yeah. So maybe they got the idea from.
They might have.
They may have. I thought it was really. I mean, some guys would have that idea. It's like, look, they're gonna catch on to it sooner or later anyway. So why not just hit it one big time and then bounce and be done instead of just nickeling and diming a little bit here and there, and then by the time you get busted, you might only clear like
20,000 or something.
Yeah, like between three of us, that's not a lot of money. Let's hit it from one big one and be done with it.
When you get that hand,
be done.
You bet big. You take the house.
Exactly. So. Whatever that meant, ladies and gentlemen, AfterBuzzers. I don't know what that.
That was my George Clooney Ocean 11.
That was your George Clooney.
That was my little black George Clooney.
I thought I heard Marissa laugh or say something.
That was mine.
Oh, my bad.
So let's go into news and
no news.
No news.
Mm-hmm.
So the news is no news.
I mean, they're the #1 show. There's no new show.
Okay, hold on, wait. Let's go to news and gossip.
All right.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay,
Ben Ericsen.
All right, well, the news and gossip is Vegas is still the #1 show, the new #1 show.
Yes.
It's followed on a great night. It has NCIS LA, and Vegas. And on Tuesdays, CBS, they kill in the ratings. And so they're #1. They're still doing extremely well. They've been picked up for a full season. And so, I don't want to say I don't want to say that word, but, they're the itch.
They're the ish.
Yeah.
So now he's going to make this podcast match the show and have it be #1 on iTunes.
Yes, we've got to get in the top 10. So tell a friend, tell everybody that
tell
you
Mama
know.
and them.
And leave your comments, call in. But yeah, we got to get in the top 10.
Yeah, we do definitely have to get in the top 10, especially since it's the #1 show. Also, Dennis Quaid is in an up-and-coming film.
Mm-hmm.
Cheaper by the dozen 3.
The Rookie 2. No.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Friday.
Again.
No, so yeah, he's in,
he was in that movie.
Yeah, he's in a romantic comedy coming up. I can't remember the name of it. But what's crazy is I saw the poster. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw the poster just yesterday, and he looks at least 20 years younger than he does on the show.
Is that makeup?
And the character just looks great. He looks really great. So
and
he does
his wife.
Yeah, he picks a good project. So I love Dennis Quaid.
That's news and gossip that Dennis Quaid is divorced. His wife
That's
left
true.
him. You know?
Really?
Yeah, because he was
That's
out.
true.
He was out Tiger Woods in it.
Oh, here we go.
So
I know they're got no.
his
Yeah,
wife
they're
was
going
like, his
through
wife for 7 years was like, "Yo, it's either gonna be me or all them." And he's like, "I'm on a #1 show on CBS."
But
so.
he wasn't married for 10 years, so the wife won't get half. She'll get some, but she won't get half.
Yeah, no, she won't, get a Tiger Woods
gotta
situation, but she'll
get something.
She'll definitely get. Yeah, she won't be hungry.
Okay, well, let's go into predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, you said your pet peeve is you don't want to see the two of them working together. Well,
No, my pet peeve is I don't want to become corny where they become buddies and they're working together like on a regular basis. Like they showed seeing where it's gonna go next week, and it looks like he arrests Savino for some reason.
He's like in protective custody.
Yeah,
That's
protective
kinda
custody.
what it's like,
It seems like they're about to slap dominoes and drink a couple 40s or something, like a couple buddies. And I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I agree. It's too soon. I mean,
Yeah.
You got a full season. You're not on the verge of being canceled.
Right.
So,
But this was already written though.
yeah, but still.
It was written.
Vegas writers. I mean, great writers, but enough.
Okay, so what is your prediction for next week, Nicholas? Go.
My prediction is that it's going to be twofold. So Lamb is going to show Savino. This is just based off of the preview. Lamb is going to show Savino the way of the land, and then Savino is going to kind of show Lamb like this is how we run a casino. That's just kind of what I think.
Okay. Predictions? Bamm. Ericsen. Go.
Prediction will be that Laura and Catherine are, they're gonna become homegirls. I couldn't think of the word. I couldn't think of a word to use.
Girlfriends?
They're gonna become closer. Yeah. And their relationship is, we're gonna get to see some women, cat fight.
Always good for ratings.
Okay, well, my prediction is Mia and Jack are finally going to hook up.
Not yet.
Nah. Kiss maybe.
That's hooking up. In this 1960?
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's hooking up.
Yeah.
That's kind of sealing the deal. Like, we have something.
You're mine.
We're putting it on the table.
But you remember when he asked her out, she was already going out. So maybe it's the 60s. She's not gonna ask him out. I was gonna say, because then maybe if she asks him out, then he will play hard to get. But no, he won't play hard to get.
Or he may walk in on her and then she'll be like, "Is there anything that I can do?" And then
I don't know about that one, but what I think is I'm really at the point now where I'm like trying to see where it's gonna go. I know in the preview they showed that the guy from, is it Montana, the assassin? What was the assassin's name? The hitman from that other crew.
Oh, it starts with the R.
And they threw him off of his the trail last time because they took care of his buddies from the Union.
I can't remember.
I can't remember his name. The guy who was looking for the sandwich.
Yeah.
But he comes back.
Yeah.
And he's gonna stir up trouble. And I'm looking forward to that because that dude's pretty sinister.
Mia's dad's gonna come back, and then we'll probably see more. Oh, now the governor. I'm sorry, I keep saying governor, but Mayor Bennett, with him,
election,
with the whole election. Now there's gonna be beef, and there's gonna be rift between he and Savino.
There you go. Sounds exciting to me.
Yeah.
Do you think Kennedy's gonna win?
I don't know.
Presidential election. All right, that's it for episode 6, The Real Thing of CBS's Vegas Season 1. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you guys next week. Where can we find you guys?
On Twitter, online, at the Nick Perdue.
At the Bamm Ericsen. No, wait. I'm sorry. At Bamm Ericsen. Not but Bamm Ericsen.
And you can find me at Club Thaddeus, CLUBTHADDEUS. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.